So I wasn't raised going to church, and after some less than favorable experiences, I kind of held church at arm's length.
I went to a very small non-denominational church, was baptized when I was about 17.
I had the same experience as Kale did growing up with churches.
And I accepted Christ when I was 12, and then I was baptized when I was 16, and was active in the church when I was younger, loved youth group and all that stuff, but got away from it and after college really. We were both nurses and our hours aren't super conducive to church always. So it was just really easy to not go.
Mm-hmm. Sending your son, your firstborn, to school for the first time can be a pretty daunting task.
He was excited from day one.
Right away.
Yeah, and loved it.
Our
the whole
anxieties about school went away pretty quickly. And right away we knew we made the right decision, the right place.
Everybody here really put our minds and our hearts at ease. I think the kids most like the atmosphere, and it's a very loving place. Our daughter Piper is in her second year, and ever since she's been coming to the preschool, we've seen tremendous growth in all of her abilities.
They just love coming back. Every day is going to be a new adventure, and we know that we can trust that they're going to have a good day here.
Miss Laura and Miss Kristen always made it feel like he was special.
The teacher to student ratio is very high, so they get a lot of hands-on engagement with everybody.
Chapel Preschool has really built quite a solid foundation for his education, and I don't think he would be doing as well as he is in school if not for coming here.
If it wasn't for the preschool and attending Sunday schools, I don't know that Brody or Piper either would have had the exposure spiritually that they've gained here.
Seeing him at breakfast, like looking at his little Bible, I'm like, I need to be doing those things too. And so I bring my Bible down now in my little devotional because I want them to see me doing that. And up until now, they haven't.
About 2 years ago, I lost my mom. In the last year, I was faced with some pretty scary medical challenges. And the preschool staff and the church as well reached out and offered to help with the kids, with meals. It was wonderful to have that extra support, and I had never had a church support me in that way before.
Is in kindergarten now in a public school, and one night at bedtime, we were after prayers and all of that, he asked us, when am I going to learn more about God and Jesus? And we had to explain to him, well, you're in a public school now, and but they're not necessarily going to have classes and learn about God and Jesus.
The chapel was about to host a Sunday school on heaven as a topic, and she invited me to come along, and I hadn't ever been to a service or anything other than just bringing the kids to school, and I decided to go for it, and I went and I met Shannon, and she went with me to the class, and shortly after we began coming to services pretty regularly, the kids started to come to Sunday school, and the chapel began doing marriage classes, having marriage classes. So we participated in 2 marriage classes, and we've really enjoyed them, and it's enriched our marriage so much.
You could see that really hit him, and he said, but everybody needs to know about God and Jesus, and that really struck me.
And so through attending services every Sunday, we just made a habit of it, and we started to feel like we belonged. And that was a new experience for me.
From there is when we started to attend the chapel regularly. I don't think we've missed a week since then.
We feel very blessed to be a part of this church family and be accepted for where we are on our path.
I played music for quite a few years, and that was something that struck a chord in me, pardon the pun. It struck a chord in me that I thought, hey, that's something that I could give. And I finally felt comfortable that I could do that in this environment because it's accepting, it's welcoming. You're not expected to be anyone other than yourself, and that's okay. I'm not perfect in my faith. I'm figuring that out like many of us are, and that was okay. So I thought that was pretty neat, and it was something I could do. I could give back to the family that accepted us here, and it was something I could do to help support Sarah and kind of pay it back for some of the things at the preschool, the relationships that we built in the preschool that we could do.
I've been wanting to give back as well. I decided that I would volunteer with the Chapel Kids. So I just started a couple weeks ago, and so far I love it.
having Abe in the Chapel Preschool, and then him saying that everybody needs to learn about God and Jesus and asking to go was really a blessing to us, because it helped us find the church that we're meant to be in. And I don't know that would have happened if he didn't have that introduction and all the teaching he got while he was at the Chapel Preschool.
Very much so. And we hope it continues. I mean, Jesus is everything. If we teach them about God and Jesus, then we'll be together forever in heaven someday. And that's like the whole point.
For us, it literally started with our son taking one little step into preschool. And, I guess what the chapel has taught us is that it's just taking that one little step to give back to make a difference in our world.